What's up, friends? Guess who's back? Back again. Cujo's back. Tell your friends, tell your mama, tell your mama's friends, tell your friends, tell everybody. How y'all doing today, man? So, if you didn't see the show earlier, Princess and I, well, I'll say Princess, decided what the name of this thing should be. It is going to be Kujo Speaks. It makes so much sense. And I think that's why I initially made my name that to make it easier on myself in situations like this. But, you know, I be slipping. I be slipping sometimes, y'all. Thank y'all for joining me. Johnny Two Times in the house. That man been busy. He ain't been around in a minute. If you're playing the Johnny Two Times drinking game from back in the day, take you a sip of whatever you want to be sipping on, water, juice. I'm on the recovery route now, people. So I can't be telling you to go drink booze because it's the devil's liquid. Thank you guys for joining me today, though. I really appreciate it. Today is going to be a little bit heavier of a content day. As you guys know, I am very, very dedicated to my recovery, and I have started to become a member of a crew of people called 3A, which stands for All Addicts and Alcoholics. Just people that are on the recovery route and that really want to help other people recover, no matter where you are in your recovery. No matter if you're in recovery yet, if you're still in active addiction, but you're thinking about going into recovery, this is a place where you can come land, come kick it, and not be judged and just be around like-minded people trying to make their lives better. So those of you that have seen the interview with Rachel Elizabeth from TikTok fame and Instagram fame, talking about her juicy dumper and all of that, she is one of the members. Nikki, Phelan, and a whole bunch of other people that are just super incredibly dope and incredibly supportive of me for one, and everybody else who comes our way. So today I think I want to talk a little bit about I guess tell my story of addiction in short form. If anybody has any questions, this is really why we want to do this, is so you guys can tune in and ask us the questions that we may not be able to answer while we're on the show, or if we haven't gotten the DMs or whatever the case may be. This is the time where we just emotionally bust it open, I guess you could say. Pause. um I didn't realize I was addicted to alcohol and pills or drugs, I think, until I want to say it was around 2010. um let's go back. Obviously, I went to college. I went to Western Michigan University, and anybody who's been to a big college like that or a big university knows the main thing you do is you booze and you party, right? But in those days, as a young man and a young woman, people see that as very acceptable and almost like a rite of passage in what you should be doing when you go to college. I would say the overwhelming majority of people would agree that you go to college and you party. That's, obviously you want to get your education and you want to do well in school, of course. You got to say that stuff, but the undertow of going to a university is partying and getting that independence and that freedom and doing your thing. So I definitely enjoyed that to the fullest of its abilities. And I know that's definitely where the habit part of it started, to where, every day it was acceptable to get up and smoke some weed and drink and at 7 in the morning or whatever. That's kind of what you do. So I took that from college and went straight into the military, which again is a place where the culture says you drink your ass off. You better be able to handle it, of course, and you better be at work at 6:30 in the morning or whatever the case may be. But we party hard. So picked it up and went and started running with it there. And the first time I ever identified to anyone that I thought I had a problem happened to be on, if I'm not mistaken, it was on 9/11. Um, I can't remember the year specifically. I think it was 2010, but we were out drinking like we usually do. And up in Northern California, there's a bunch of areas that have kind of creeks or rivers, and a bunch of sand dunes and stuff like that. So everybody goes up there and drinks and parties by the river and whatnot. No big deal. Everybody does it. We came upon a van that was like on the edge of this ravine. Like, I'll have to find the picture and post it. but it was definitely about to fall off of that ravine. So me and my group of, homies, drunk and all amped up on, testosterone and heroism, we run over and, see what's going on. And there's a dude in there, he's hammered and he's got his kid in the car. And his son was, I don't know, maybe 5, 6 years old. So we're holding on to the back of the vehicle, trying to make sure that vehicle doesn't fall. We get him out of the front seat because it was the easiest to grab. The back seat was in the air, so you couldn't quite just, climb in there and grab him out. Somehow we end up getting the vehicle down a little bit and got the little boy out and all of that. And obviously he's, shaking up, crazy shaking up. And we can tell that the dude is drunk because he's like, "Oh my God, anybody get a picture of that? That's crazy. Oh man," laughing and giggling and shit. And we're like, "Well, this is, absolutely insane." So I don't even know if we called the cops at that point or called EMS or any of that. I don't think we even did. So we go about our business and we're driving around and, kind of thinking about how crazy that shit was. And we end up rolling by his little encampment while we're leaving. And he stops us. He was like, "Man, thank you guys so much, man. That was awesome. That was so cool. Anybody get a video of that? Like, I'm going to post it on social media." And oh, man, that's great. And had a beer in his hand. And his little boy was over there sitting by himself, looking super shook. And for some reason, that shit hit me hard. It hit me real hard, and it made me take a look at myself and my habits. And I think it couldn't have been a day. I went to my superiors and I was like, "Hey, I really think I have a really bad drinking problem that could lead me down a road that I don't want to go down." Um, I didn't have kids at the time or anything like that, but for some reason, I saw in that dude what I was gonna be had I not went and asked for help. So, um, even though my higher ups didn't think I had a problem, and I slightly remember them even saying like, "Well, really? Like I wouldn't have known. You always come to work and you do your job and you're playing you this and you that." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, I know I have an issue because this is how much I drink. This is how often I drink. I do this, I do that." So they let me go to a rehab facility. Keep in mind, this is in 2010. And if you're doing the numbers, I have 2 years sober at this point. So it took me a it took me a very long time. I had a really, really long relapse. I did a 28-day inpatient program at a place called Newbridge in Berkeley, California. It was the craziest experience I've ever had in my entire life. Um, for one, you immediately regret self-identifying because you worry about what that's gonna do to your military career. You worry about how people are gonna look at you. You worry about your family, finding out how bad things are, and, you already feel like you've let everybody down, especially being someone in the military, like, that's drinking and driving or being an alcoholic in the military as far as the law of the military is concerned is, that's an offense that'll get you kicked out. So, excuse me. I really didn't know about the safety of my career and what was gonna happen to me, but luckily I had great leadership. I had a great commander and great, people above me who really took care of me, really cared about me deeply and just wanted me to be alright. So, the program was the program. You know, uh, I think the best thing about this group 3A that I'm a part of is that it's not one of the like, a lot of people have a stigma about AAs and rehabs, like their cults or their uniformity makes people do their brainwashing, like, all those things, whatever you wanna say about it, it is what it is. But, for me, it obviously did not work. I saw in that place specifically, and no beef on that place. This is not that place's fault. It's all on the occupants of that place. But I don't know how many of those people are still sober. Shortly after we got out of there, I think I remember talking to somebody and someone that was there was supposedly had passed or OD'd or you never know what happens to people outside of there. But people were getting stuff snuck in and we were sneaking around and doing all, for some people it was just a 28-day vacation. And as serious as I was about it, I think the fact that no one else around me marked it as a huge issue or a problem or something that needed to be resolved, I gave myself too many kudos for just doing it and admitting that there was an issue. So I stayed sober for I think it was 6 months. and it was fine. It was great. Everything was cool until I got stationed in Vegas for like 45 days. So, um, the temptation obviously is everywhere out there, but I was cool. I had a homeboy with me who had been sober for a long time, and was ride or die for his recovery. So him and I were doing it together. I think we stayed in the same rooms. Um, uh, we roommated or whatever. So he was really holding me down, and then we ended up going to, I think it was the Rio, and MTV Spring Break just so happened to be there that year. I don't know why I thought this was a great idea. I thought I could be strong going to this thing. And for the most part, I was. We went to the pool party. I didn't drink. I didn't want to drink. We had a blast, had a really good time. And then for some reason, I ran into the one black dude on the cast that season, and he just so happened to be from Detroit. And so him and I started chopping it up and, hit it off or whatever. And he introduced me to the rest of the cast. So now me and my homeboy go from in the pool just at MTV Spring Break to now we're on stage as they're doing like the wet t-shirt contest and twerk contest, and now I'm one of the judges. And like I think I was in the twerk contest for the dudes at one point. So we get tight with their whole crew and the producers of the show and all of that, and they invite us to the season premiere. It was either the premiere or the finale. I can't remember which one, but I think it was the premiere. So we go to the premiere at the Hard Rock, and they have, that club in the Hard Rock is all about the premiere that night, and they got the big, private booth up top, and the bananas in pajamas were there dancing around. Like it was wild. It was once in a lifetime type thing. So we're in the little booth, and I'm not drinking at first, and my homeboy's not drinking, and we're having a good time. And then one of the cast members was like, "Yo, everything in here is free, right? Like all of this is for us. It's all free. Like enjoy yourself. Grab a drink." And I was looking around, and I'm like, "Man, if there's any time for me to relapse, boy, ain't this it?" And for some odd reason, I told my homeboy, I'm like, "Hey, dog, I'm sorry, bro. Like I feel like drinking more than I feel like not drinking right now." So I got hammered. I got hammered in the club, and then after the club night was over, we ended up going upstairs to the suite that they filmed the show in, and it was over from there. It was drinks all night. Um, I don't remember what else was in that room, but I'm telling you, it was straight up Hollywood, Vegas style, MTV, whatever, whatever. So we, partied all night, and there was no turning back from there. The rest of that Vegas trip was wild. I didn't get in no trouble, obviously. I did my job. I went to work on time and all that. But as soon as we was off work, we was either at the strip, or there was a country bar, casino. I think the place was called, like, I don't remember what it's called, but we went there every night. Everybody's partying, doing their thing. So I don't know if there was another point in time between then and 2 years ago that I really gave a serious shot at not drinking. I think after that relapse, and I didn't even consider it a relapse at that point, because even though I had been to rehab, I guess I was convinced that I didn't have a problem, and I was being a hypochondriac about my addiction, and that I was good as long as I wasn't doing it for any reason besides I liked it, which became a huge issue, shortly after that, during the divorce and all that good stuff, and injuries in Iraq and whatnot. So at that point, it was the crutch. It was the thing. It was the thing that I said kept me alive, and um, nulled the pain, I guess. Which it's the only thing that I could grab onto, besides the prescription pills they were giving me already. It just was the thing. I accepted it that was my life, and I felt like it was okay because I was still successful in the military. I still was, highly regarded and all that. And I didn't think I was doing anybody wrong. I thought I was the perfect drunk. I had my head on my shoulders when I was faded, and it was obviously not the truth. Far from the truth. Looking back now, obviously, and I haven't gotten into doing the 12 steps or anything like that yet, which I am going to do. And I know one of those things is, making amends. And I think about that all the time, in the fact of priding myself on how I treat people. And even though I say I prided myself then on how I treated people, I was a completely different human being when I had booze in my system. And I didn't realize that. So I do know that there are a lot of people between I'll just say between 2010 and now that I've come across in a faded situation or, out of my mind, hammered, that I will at some point soon have to contact and just go through that conversation because it is unfair. The way some of these people have been treated that really did care about me quite a bit. But I will say as well to everybody in recovery who is making amends or thinking about the things they've done wrong or whatnot, it's not always you. Just because you were in addiction and we're doing some things that you're not proud of. There are some people on this planet who are narcissists and they feed off of that, and they know you're weak and they know you're faded, so they'll amp you up or trigger you to get you to flip so that it's your fault and you can burden or carry all the burden of all the toxic situations and all the toxic relationships and times that things happen, and they cover their shit up by blaming it on you and your addiction. So you just got to be careful who you're around. Um, Obviously, I always talk about, me and P always talk about team, and what your circle looks like around you. Um, and that's the most important thing, I think, no matter what, whether you're in addiction or not. But truly, people that are in addiction, if you're wanting help and you're wanting to recover, or even if you just want to slow your drinking down or your drug use or whatever down, you have to surround yourself with people that support that mission. There were so many times, even, recently, right around the first couple months that I quit drinking, that people are like, "Oh yeah, well, how long? How long you didn't quit drinking for?" And well, you can still have one, right? As long as you don't get drunk. Like, I'm sorry, but you got to cut those people off, no matter how close they are to you. If they don't see how sick you are and they don't care to know how sick you are because they need somebody to drink with and be miserable with, you got to put that distance between you and them. I don't know if it needs to be forever. It's a case by case thing, really, but I mean, it is what it is. I used to be somebody who had, as many friends as I wanted to call and go hang out with, go to the bars with, go to parties and, kick it or whatever. But these days I don't see much good in really going and hanging around a lot of people, because most of the people that I would hang around with are people I used to just get hammered with, so, at this point, the focus at this point really is doing everything I can for myself to make sure I continue on the road of sobriety. But more than that is trying to tell my story as much as possible, trying to share the things I've been through as much as possible so that my story hopefully can resonate with somebody, and uh, the things that I've done can keep them from doing the things that I've done. Mr. Outside, what up, boy? Said I'm about to come over and spit some bars. You ain't ready for that jelly, man. You are not ready for that jelly. Thuggery, that sniper, what's up? Thank you for joining, man. Those of you who are just joining, sharing a little bit about my addiction, my road to recovery. I am 2 years in right now, a little over 2 years in right now. Um, the wild thing about saying that too, that 2 year mark, people give me all this praise. Oh man, that's so long. But it's scary being at 2 years because I plan on living another, 60 years. So I gotta go 62 years. Like, this 2 years was hard as hell. There's temptation everywhere. My house burned down. I went to the store to get some booze. And luckily, I mean, my higher power, or, whatever the forces that be, put their hands on me, or their mojo, or whatever you want to call it. Something told me that day, turn around, young man. Don't do this. You will regret it with all your heart. And I listened and I dipped. I dipped out. Um, so that's a little bit about that. I will be covering that in more detail and really digging into that whole thing, because as of right now, in my life and for the rest of my life, this will be the number one priority, because without me being sober, I'm no good to my wife. I'm no good to my kids. I'm no good to my mother, my sisters, my brothers, no good to any of y'all if alcohol ever touches my lips again. So that is first and foremost. I know recovery and addiction and all of those things are a lot taboo. I know it's really hard to speak up to or for someone who is in that situation, and I get that. It's very sensitive, especially depending on, people's situations with work or whatnot. But the people that that are in my tribe now have so many resources to protect your job, to, help you out and make sure that stigma doesn't get attached to you and it doesn't ruin everything. Because honestly, what you're doing now is what's going to ruin everything. So please, if it is you that's been thinking about it, if it's been, even if the thought passes your mind that, man, maybe I should slow down, if it's not me, if it's not 3A, if it's not coming to the Zoom meetings that I'm going to post here in a second, talk to somebody, find somebody in your life that you can lean on and be open with. Trust me, it feels good. I have a few people in my life that have reached out and, asked me to be their, um, their accountability partner, if you want to call it that, sober friend, whatever you want to call it. And I'm always down, no matter what. So you can even personally hit me up if you don't feel comfortable coming to the Zooms or whatever the case may be. I will say the Zoom meetings, though, if you want to come and be totally anonymous, just keep your camera off, keep it muted. You can just listen in. It's a place where you'll never be called out. We're not going to make you speak or put you on the spot. It's truly just a place where you can come and be around people that will not judge you for who you are, where you are, what you got going on, what you've been through, or what your prospects are. We just want to know you're all right. We just want to know you good. We just want to know you bruh. So this is the flyer here. Mondays, all genders. Wednesdays, men's meeting. Thursdays, women's meeting. Sundays, gratitude meeting. And then outside of these meetings, in all respects, if anybody ever needs in like an emergency meeting, or you need us to hop on it and holler at you, we will do that as well. We have done that before, and it definitely proves useful. People are really finding this place to be somewhere that can help, and it makes me genuinely happy just seeing people happy to be there and shining and sharing and open up, and seeing that light come back in people's faces. It's incredible. So again, if you guys know anybody that could use this help or use this group or this support, please don't hesitate to hit me up. Here, I'll put the banner on one time. Don't hesitate to hit me up. Go on here directly. Like I said, again, you don't have to put your camera on. You don't have to speak. You don't even have to acknowledge that you're in the room. Just come and kick it. Come be somewhere where people feel like you feel, instead of feeling like you're judged and having to isolate and not be around folks. Ja, feel me? Whoo, man. Talking about addiction, man, it's a crazy topic, and it's something that I didn't think would be the forefront of my life, because I never thought I'd quit drinking. But the more I get into being in service and digging into Aoife, what's up, friend? We love you. The more I share, and the more I'm open with my addiction and my situation that's going on, it shows me and it proves to me that this is a reason why I'm here. It's not the only reason why, but for a long time, I wondered why all those near-death experiences and all those close calls and me making it back from Iraq and Afghanistan. I always wondered why. I had no idea. I had kids, and then obviously that gave me a solid reason. But you have to have an internal reason. You can't just do things for other people. Not even your kids, not your wife, not your family. You can't do things for other people. You have to do something that makes your soul shine, that makes your soul happy, that completes your inner being, or it will not last. You won't continue. So for me, it's seeing other people be inspired by my story. And I always feel little in this large world, but that makes me feel a little bit bigger. It puffs my chest up a little bit and makes me think that one man can in fact change the world, at least for somebody. I think that's the part they leave out of that statement. One man can change the world for somebody. You know what I mean? There's people that change my world on a daily basis. The way I think of myself, the way I think of who I am or my recovery or whatever. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, I'm not worth it. Today sucks. It's always going to suck. And then someone says the right thing, or shows me the right amount of love, or obviously every time my wife looks at me, I'm like, I'm the man. But you got a chance to change somebody's world every day, man. I know it's scary out here on this planet, and people are crazy, and strangers are stranger danger, but it don't hurt nobody to wave or smile or just say hi, or there's been times where I've been walking and I'm a fairly big statured black dude, and some older white ladies walking and might have a little frown face, not knowing what my demeanor is going to be. And me saying, "Hey, good morning, how are you?" You just see the biggest, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" you know, like, that was unexpected, and that made her day. So just be kind to yourselves, be kind to strangers. You never know what somebody's going through. You never know what you showing that love and support could do for that person. So I got to get out of here. I'm sorry that was so short. I am about to go into the co-ed meeting, which starts at 8 o'clock. One more time for good measure. Um, and I'll say it again. If it's you, please hit us up. Please come kick it. Please come see what this is all about. If it's someone let me know, DM me. I'll send you this flyer personally, and you can send it to them or talk to them about it or have them hit me up. Whatever you want to do, however you want to do it. Just help your people out. Check on your people, man. Give your people some love. I love you. I'm your boy Kujo Speaks. This has been Kujo Speaks. Holla at your boy. We'll see y'all next time, man.